Hi BookTube, me again. Today I thought I would talk about The Lies of Locke Lamora. It's book 1 of The Gentleman Bastards. It's one of those rare anti-hero books where the protagonist is a guy that you probably shouldn't be rooting for. You see, the main character, and title character in fact, who is called Locke, is the leader of a small gang of conmen that call themselves the Gentleman Bastards. There's 5 of them, and their game is to con money out of the nobility of the city they live in, which is called Lamora. It's a fantastical city of sword and sorcery style, with a lot of crime. These criminals fit right in to a city that seems to be at least 50% criminals or something. But it's a city where the criminal gangs are kind of left to their own devices. The authorities leave them alone on the understanding that the criminals don't steal from the authorities, from the nobility and such. And the title character, Locke, is kind of favoured by the head of the criminal underworld. So you get to see the various strata of criminal life, which is quite interesting. And Locke and his crew are a very effective con men, and it's all going rather swimmingly, which was a bit of an issue for me. The first 30% of the book, there didn't seem to be any conflict. The Gentleman Bastards are doing their cons with no issues, nothing going wrong. As I said, they're favoured by their criminal overlord. I was a bit confused where the conflict was, where the plot was supposed to be going. It did at last begin to be revealed around the 30 to 40% mark, which I thought was a bit late. But once it did appear, the plot did develop nicely. And during that, and throughout the whole book, between chapters, it's jumping back and forth in time a bit to the earlier lives of the Gentleman Bastards, describing how they came to be criminals and how they developed their particular skill sets. And it worked quite well. I did enjoy that. This is a book that is unapologetically brutal at times, fits in with the criminal tones, and the heroes themselves are, quite like that term, unapologetically brutal at times. Quite a lot of people die in this book, and I generally quite like books that aren't afraid to kill off some key characters. Keeps you guessing. I did sort of feel this book got a bit carried away with that. I'll come back to that. So, on the whole, I really enjoyed this book, and I would recommend reading it. But I would say it's a 4-star book. 4 stars is a good rating. Here's my thoughts on why it's not a 5-star book. Already gone through the somewhat adrift sense I had at the start, where I didn't really know what the plot was supposed to be. That was an issue. The other issue is the magic system in this book. It's heavily underdeveloped, and I didn't really feel it was necessary at all. There's one sorcerer in the book, and I kind of felt in all of his scenes that I'd have enjoyed the book more had the issue been dealt with in some more just thuggish way, rather than magical way. Sort of felt it would have suited the tone of the book better. This is a magical world. The city they live in was actually built by a disappeared, mysterious magical race called the Eldrin. And that sort of mysterious sense of magic, I thought worked really well. The actual sorcerer in the book, I didn't feel worked very well. So that's another point. that perhaps was not in its favour. And probably the third issue I had was that, as I said, possibly got a bit carried away with killing off key characters, to the extent that a lot of the characters I was invested in can't possibly be in the sequel, which leaves me questioning how much I actually want to read it. It was an enjoyable book, so I probably will pick up the sequel at some point, but it has left me with doubts. So a good but not shining review for The Lies of Locke Lamora. Bye.